Good morning, everybody. It's Scott Duffy. Good morning. And this is What Now with Scott Duffy, presented by SAP Concur. And I just want to welcome you all today and tell you I'm really fired up about today's show. There's so much to discuss, including the shift of energy I started to feel last night in Los Angeles. And I really want to talk to all of you about that this morning. By the way, if you're new to the show, please do me a favor when you come in, when you drop in. Good morning, Brian Hardy. Please write down your name, the industry that you're in, and maybe the biggest challenge that you're facing today. And it doesn't even have to be related to business. It can be related to anything, business, personal. You may want to talk about these like the riots and the looting. You may want to talk about the PPP and what's still available out there for you. I want to do everything I can to shape this show around you. That is my number one goal. And we have so much to talk about today. We're going to give this just a minute to propagate across all the different social networks. So this is live streaming right now on Facebook and YouTube, and where else are we? On Periscope, Apple TV. It's up on Roku through the Connect network and a whole bunch of other places. So again, from wherever you're watching, I just want to welcome you this morning and say thank you so much for joining. Again, if you're new to the show, please do me this favor. Or if you're a regular, like Brian, if you would just drop in, write down your name, the industry that you're in, the biggest challenge that you're having right now, that would be awesome. And I will do everything I possibly can to shape this show around you. I'm back in Newport Beach today. I left LA last night. It was a little bit too cray-cray for me over there. It got pretty intense yesterday. And I was talking to a friend this morning in San Diego who's downtown. And I didn't realize it's so crazy right now. There's rioting in over 150 and looting in over 100, I should say, and protesting in over 150 different cities. And so, what's going on in Los Angeles, I didn't realize a lot of that was also going on in other places where my friends lived until I got them on the phone today. And so I just we're going to talk a little bit about that this morning as well. We had got about 30 seconds here before we go live. And again, I just want to thank all of you guys for joining. Again, I want to shape this show around you. So whatever's going on, whether it's in business, it is in your personal life, it is, you want to find out more about PPP, you want to talk about unemployment, you want to talk about whatever it is that you need help with right now, that's what this show is all about. So thank you guys very much. And here we go. Good morning. My name is Scott Duffy, and this is What Now with Scott Duffy, presented by SAP Concur. I want to welcome you from wherever you're listening. You can tune in each day at 10 a.m. Pacific to watch the live broadcast on YouTube and Facebook, or listen nationwide on Dash Radio throughout the day, or download the podcast. This show is for entrepreneurs, small businesses, and those thinking about starting their own company. It's for people affected by this economy. Maybe they lost their business, their job, they were furloughed, or they saw their consulting contracts canceled. And for a lot of us, it happened just like that. It's for people asking, what do I do now? And how do I come out of this crisis even stronger? Now, today, our focus is on how we generate cash when nobody's paying attention. How do we generate cash when nobody's paying attention? And here's what I mean. In the last 3 months, all of us have been blindsided. It is crazy to think that it's been less than 90 days since we've been hit by COVID, stay-at-home orders, business closures, and unemployment at a rate greater than the Great Depression. And now looting and riots and protests and all kinds of civil unrest. It's really unbelievable when you think about it. So again, how do we generate cash when there's so many other things going on out there that people are focusing on? How do we get them to lock into our products and services? And how do we provide so much benefit to them that they can't help but to buy? I want to take just a second before I get started. First, I want to say hello to Devin Alexander. It's great to have you with us this morning. Brian Hardy, it's so good to see you. Doc V, you are the man, and I'm so happy to have you here. Davey Williams, thank you so much for joining. And again, if you're joining for the first time, please drop in your name, the industry that you're in, maybe the biggest challenge that you're having today. And what I want to do is everything I can to help shape this show around you. So again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to try this. Hold on. I'm experimenting with something new. There we go. So again, our focus today is how do we get people to focus on our products and services? How do we get them to spend money with us and in our business when there's so much stuff going on, from civil rights protests to COVID to unemployment to all this kind of stuff? What is it that we should be doing today in order to help grow our cash and in order to, and grow our businesses? And again, I can't believe all this has happened. It just hit me in just 3 months. And what does all this mean to your customer? Are they really paying attention to you? Are they listening to what you have to say about your product or service? And what do you have to do to win their business and their long-term loyalty right now? Now, our special guest, as I mentioned yesterday, we had an entirely new format for our show that was starting yesterday. What we planned to do was bring in a special guest every single day. And then I'm asking all of you, by the way, at connect at scottduffy.com or shoot me a DM. Every day, what we want to do is bring in another entrepreneur, another one of our viewers, another one of our listeners, and we want to bring you onto the show with me and that day's guest. And we want to mastermind and we want to brainstorm around your business. What does that mean? What that means is we want to learn from you firsthand, the business that you're in, what you're up to, the biggest challenges that you're having. We want to know where you want to go. And then together, me and whoever the guest is that day are going to work with you and the rest of the group on helping you to get there and hopefully to get there faster. And so that format was scheduled to start yesterday, but with everything going on, it affected several of our guests this week. And so we're going to start next Monday with that formula. Yesterday, I didn't have the opportunity because there was so much going on to talk about COVID and to talk about COVID. So I had been off the air for 2 weeks, and I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to COVID. So COVID was a business festival that we threw about 1 week ago, and it was 5 weeks in the planning. And the idea behind COVID was this, and I've shared this story several times. I was a guy that had made a bunch of money in technology, been really successful in business, and had all this cool stuff happen. I had sold a company to my hero entrepreneur, who was Richard Branson at the time. And then came 2008 and the market crash. And in what seemed like a heartbeat, I lost everything. I went $400,000 in debt. We lost the business. It was crazy. And it all happened like that. And it felt so much like what's happened over the last 90 days to so many people. And so when the market crashed about 11 weeks ago, I was really sick when I woke up that morning. And it wasn't for me. I wasn't sick. I was sick for all of the other people that may have to experience what I did before turning things around. And so the inspiration for the COVID Business Festival was to provide people with all the tools and resources they needed in order to pivot, in order to adapt, in order to position themselves to come out of this period even stronger. Now, this whole thing, the COVID Business Festival, started with two people. It started with me and Sita Thompson. It was the two of us, and we're like, let's do it. And then before you knew it, there was a third and a fourth. And it ended up taking 34 people. 34 people dropped in and helped out and rolled up their sleeves to make it happen. We had 43 speakers in 2 days, 60 content providers that provided content. And it was some of the best of the best, the top entrepreneurs and innovators in the country, founders of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Priceline.com, Ubid.com, the board game Pictionary. We had Seth O'Byrne, HGTV's #1 celebrity talent, Andre Reed, NFL Hall of Famer. And again, everyone was sharing what they're doing today in order to continue to break through and come out of this stronger. So I just wanted to thank, because I haven't had a chance to do it yet, I want to thank everybody that was involved in COVID. I want to thank all of the viewers. We had over 30,000 people watching our live stream in those 2 days. We reached a total through all of our media and things that we did of 46 million people. Now, if you did not get a chance to see the COVID Business Festival, you can scroll down in the thread, the What Now group on Facebook, and you'll be able to watch the broadcast, which is something you can do. Or if you like, starting next week, we're actually going to be selling, they'll be very expensive. We're going to sell the entire 2-day event. And the way the event will be broken out is all clean cuts of each speaker broken into categories with speaker notes and things like that. And so we have all of that will be there for you. So again, thank you so much. And again, Sita Thompson just mentioned Sadhguru. So it wasn't just business leaders. It wasn't just celebrity entrepreneurs or entertainers or athletes. We had one of the greatest yogis and mystics of our time, Sadhguru, who came in from India and spoke to us for 20 minutes about entrepreneurship and the power of this time in this period. It was really awesome. So there's COVID. And again, I just wanted to thank everybody so much. The economy. Really quickly, let me talk about the economy. It's crazy because since the last show that, 2 weeks ago, it's crazy what's happened. Unemployment has gone from 25 to over 40 million people. We're on course to be at over 50 million people by the end of June at the current rate. Looking at the data, it appears that June is probably going to be the toughest month in terms of unemployment. Over 50% of small businesses in the U.S. say they're likely to close in the next 4 weeks. That represents, think about this, 50% of small businesses in the U.S. report they plan to close in the next 4 weeks. 50%. That represents 40% of unemployment in the United States. Today, we learned that GDP is down 53% in the second quarter. It ain't good, but here's the thing. We all know this. The news is the same pretty much every day. And so what do we have to do? What we have to do is we have to focus on the things that we can control. We have to focus on the things that we can control each and every day in order to move our businesses forward. And that business could be, we're a solopreneur, we're a micropreneur, we got 3 or 4 people that work for us, we got a big company. Our job now is to be locked in, more locked in than we ever have been before to the things that we can control. And what can we control? 2 things, what we focus on and how we move and take care of ourselves. It's those 2 things. And so this show is going to be dedicated today to what we're going to focus on as business leaders in order to put ourselves in the best position to get people to either start or continue paying for our products and services during this period. Because there is money out there. There is, one of my good friends who I spoke to yesterday, who's watching today. He's killing it right now. Duck is killing it right now in his business. I know other people that are killing it. But they all have one thing in common, and that's what we're going to talk about. That's what we're going to talk about today. Before we go there, because it's really the perfect metaphor, I want to talk about the protests and the riots for just a minute, because it is the perfect segue into helping us to understand what we need to do in order to get people to buy into us and to buy into our product at really a higher rate during this time. First of all, I just want to reiterate, I'm absolutely sick for George Floyd and for his family. I am sick for people of color and minorities in this country that have had to go through this bullshit, police harassment, whatever, racism, discrimination, whatever label we want to put on it. It makes me absolutely ill. It makes me absolutely ill that the policeman who killed George Floyd is sitting in jail right now with a charge that is so much lower than it should be. It makes me absolutely ill that the other police officers that were there, that were totally complicit, their boss, the police chief, said they were totally complicit, haven't been charged with anything. I think it's absolutely disgusting. And there's a lot that we could be angry about right now. There's a lot we should be angry about right now. But here's the thing. In Los Angeles, I live in a place where we were kind of in the middle or adjacent to everything. So where we sit right next door is the Fairfax area. So over the weekend, the market that we go to, the places that we shop, all of that stuff was looted and destroyed. Over here in Hollywood, where Dash Studio is, where I've got my radio stuff, there was a big march last night. A lot of that area was looted and destroyed. Santa Monica, where I grew up, spent all my time, looted and destroyed. It was crazy. And I was so mad. And there was so much that I wanted, I just didn't even know what to do. I was so frustrated. And it made me think, about building consensus. It made me think about how do we get past this? And really the metaphor for me happened last night. The metaphor for me happened when I was watching a protest and it looked like it was about to go sideways. Honest to goodness, you could feel the energy. It was in Los Angeles and it looked like it was going to go sideways. And you know what happened? The police officer who was running things on the scene walked up, found the person who was the organizer of the protest, who was kneeling, and everyone was kneeling around that person. And what did they do? They got on their knees with them and they knelt. And it completely changed the energy. Now, why is this so important? The reason that this is so important is in order to get people to move from one place to another, and one place to another could be they go from not buying our product to buying our products and services, to having a bigger vision for themselves, right? Here's the thing. In order to do that, we have to build consensus. And when there's a big group or a big organization, we need to build consensus. And what does that mean? The way you manage power in any big organization or group is to build consensus. And the way you build consensus is to start by meeting people where they are. You have to meet people where they are. And then, and by the way, you don't do things like say they're wrong for feeling the way they feel. You don't do things like saying, I think I understand what you're going through. Here's my idea. You don't say things like they're wrong for feeling the way they feel. You don't cut them off when they're speaking and say, no, I've got a different vision. You're just missing everything. What you have to do is you have to meet people exactly where they are. There's a lot of people out there that are going through a really rough time right now. They're going through a rough time because they're fighting to keep their business or they've lost their business. They're unemployed. They're recently furloughed. They've lost their consulting contracts. They're wondering, what the hell do I do now? And they're really having a hard time inside. How do we deal with these people? If we go up to these people and say, you're focused on the wrong thing. We say, you should be looking at this in a different way. We say things like, okay, I get it, but this is where your focus should be. Once we start to control that dialogue, when we're meeting people where we are, we've lost. We've completely lost. This goes for whether you're trying to sell a new product or service, or you're trying to turn around a protest and make sure it doesn't become an angry mob. What we have to do is meet people where they are. So let me share what the police officer did, because I think it is such a freaking awesome metaphor. What the police officer did is he got down on his knee and he met everybody where they were. Then what he did is he found the person, talked to the person who was the organizer, and he said, tell me how you're feeling. What are you experiencing? Like, what are you feeling right now? What brought you here? Then what is your goal in being here? What do you want to do? He asked questions like, this is great. He asked questions like, okay, so you want to protest. What kind of protest do you want to have? Is this going to be a peaceful protest? Are you guys going to get aggressive? He asked questions like, do you want to get arrested, or do other people here want to get arrested? Is that part of your protest, your voice? Okay, great. So so what he did is he totally met this person where they were. And then what he did is he started to paint a vision. And the vision he painted was, okay, so if you guys want to protest, you want it to be a peaceful protest, can we keep it in this particular area? Are you cool if we keep it in this particular area? At least this is where it starts. If people want to get arrested, can you have those people like over here? And then it'll be really orderly. We can go, just show me who they are. We'll go arrest them over here. And then we bring them over here. Is that cool? He started to paint this picture and was in total alignment because he started by having rapport. You see, people who are like each other tend to like each other. People who are not like each other tend not to like each other. So by meeting somebody where they are, you're able to develop rapport. And when you're in that place, you can start to develop trust. And then when you have that rapport and that trust, you can paint a picture for them. And then you can help to move them in that particular direction. Now that happened in Los Angeles in like 3 or 4 different places last night. It also happened across the country. And if you watch the news today, if you really search for it, there are some amazing stories today about people coming together, police officers coming together, along with protesters coming together, but they all are starting by meeting in the same place. I think about this in terms of Eat Real. So when we did the COVID Business Festival, I wanted to do two things. One is I wanted to provide entrepreneurs with as much as I possibly could, as much information as I could from people who were the best of the best at teaching it to help them to get through this crisis from a business standpoint. I also wanted to help feed kids. And here's what I mean. Before the COVID crisis, 20 million kids in the United States every single year or every single day got their only meal from their school lunch program. Now, when the market crashed, what happened is that number went from 20 million to almost 35 million kids were going to rely on school lunch programs for their only meal of the day. That's it. And so what I did is I partnered with a group called Eat Real that is working with schools to take what is being made in the cafeterias and actually deliver it to the kids' homes. So they not only are getting the food to them, they deliver it to the kids' homes along with enough for the kids' families. And I'm really proud to say that we raised a lot of money for that cause. And thank you for all of you that donated. Here's how that applies to your business today. What Eat Real really does, their core business pre-COVID was this. What they do is they go to schools and they take a look at the school lunch program. And the reason is I don't know if you guys know this, but the biggest supplier of food to schools in the United States, this is what your kids eat. The biggest supplier of food to schools in the United States is PepsiCo. It's PepsiCo. It's Pepsi. The number one fast food chain in the United States is our school system. And so what Eat Real does, Eat Real goes to these schools and they take a look at the menu and they take a look at what's in the food. And then, as opposed to saying, hey, let's replace the people who are providing the food. Let's replace Pepsi. As opposed to fighting and arguing with the organization, with the school, what they do is they give the school a report card on their food. And then they'll go back with one thing at a time. They'll say, let's focus on this one thing. Let's eliminate 10 pounds of sugar every year from each kid's school lunch. Think about that. 10 pounds of sugar. This is something they've done from each kid's school lunch. They take that to the principal and the people who in the school and in the organization are responsible for this stuff. And then together they would go to PepsiCo or they go to the food providers and say, here's our goal. Here's our goal. This is where we are. We're going to meet this. And this is our vision. This is where we want to go. Can you help us to get there? And magically, what happens is the food providers are able to come up. It's almost like they already had the healthier choices that were available. They probably cost the food providers more, so they weren't the first thing they were providing. And then they're able to provide a more healthy, nutritious lunch for the kids. So again, it's all about meeting people where they are, letting that person open up, letting that customer open up today and share where they really are, listening to where they are, right? Not interjecting, listening to where they are. And then once they've gotten everything on the table, then what you can do is you can cast the brightest light on what's going on, because sunlight is the best disinfectant. The number one way to solve any problem isn't to put darkness over it. It's not to bury it. It's not to hide it. The number one way to solve any problem is to cast the brightest possible light you can on it. Because when you see it and you see it for what it is, then you can go and you can solve it. And what's amazing today, what incredible business leaders are doing is they are becoming incredible problem solvers because they are providing a space, a channel, a forum for their customers to say, this is what I need, and this is the way I need it. And then what they're able to do as businesses is to paint a picture of how they can solve that problem. And then the sell is really so simple. And this is what I'm seeing everywhere. So I have some more to say on this. But before I do, I want to say hello to a few people that have joined us. By the way, if you're watching now and this is your first time or you just hopped in, please write down your name. Ideally, the industry that you're in, maybe the biggest challenge that you're having in your space, so we can shape the rest of this show around you. Let me jump into the comments here, and I'm going to see if this works because I'm playing with some new tech today. Does this work? We're going to do this, and we're going to hide this, and there you go. Good morning to Sita Thompson. Hello, Sita Thompson. Dea, it is so good to see you today. Thank you for joining. Todd Sue, nice to see you. Hey, Todd, where do you live? I'm curious where you live. And you're right. We got to flip this. We got to flip the script on this whole thing and look for new opportunities. Here's the thing that we have to know as business leaders. The new opportunities aren't things that we create. The new opportunities are things that we discover because we listen. So again, it's all about what do you need? What do you need today? Tell me where you are. Let me create a space for you. Let me create a safe space for you to tell me where you are. Okay, what do you need from that place? And now what can I do? How can I give you what you want the way that you want it? Helen, good morning. It's very nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Brian Hardy, always so good to see you. And we got you there, Todd. Doc V. I have to tell you guys, if you're not watching Doc V's daily live streams, you have got to do it. I mean, put it on your calendar. Doc V is incredible. He's doing a great job. He's got millions of people watching his videos and his live streams today, and he's so incredibly powerful. I just want to say, Doc V, I'm so proud of what it is that you're doing. And Tim Moore, we have a song that was created called Stronger Together for the COVID Business Festival. And Astral Gang just came out of nowhere. These amazing men came together and they created a song to empower people. And I'm going to drop it in the comments here so that all of you can share it and all of you can listen to it. But what's really cool is the song itself has totally taken off and has a whole new life of its own. And so Astral Gang is just, I'm such a big fan, and thank you so much for participating in the COVID Business Festival. Arthur, so good to see you. Thank you so much for joining today. So good to see you here. Now I'm going to see if I can do this. I'm going to see if I can switch over. This is going to work. Let's see here. I may not be able to figure this out. I may not be smart enough. All right. Give me just a second. Trying on the fly. Just a second. I know the silence is deafening. Here we go. All right, there we go. So all of you. So again, if you're new, please drop in, give me your name, the business that you're working on, and the biggest challenge that you're having. And I would love to answer and do anything that I can to help. Also, if you are interested in being somebody who we mastermind, we mentor during this program, I need you to send me a DM. Shoot me a DM today. So again, the way this is going to work is starting on Monday, I have a guest every single day on this program. I'm completely changing the show format. And I want to provide as much value as I possibly can to all of you. And so I've gotten a lot of feedback, and this is what people have been asking for. I'm going to have a guest each day that's on the show. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to bring one of you on. I'm going to bring one of our listeners or one of our viewers every single day. We're going to bring them on the show with me and the guest. And we're actually going to do mentoring on the fly. So we're going to ask you, who you are, what it is that you do, the biggest challenge that you're facing today or challenges you're facing today. And together, we're going to work on solving those problems and helping you to see and build a plan to get to a bigger vision for you and for your business. So again, if you want to be someone that we put in that hot seat, that's what we call it, the hot seat, then that would be totally awesome. What I just need you to do is DM me, and someone on my team will get back to you, and we will take care of that, and we'll get you on the show. Sound good? All right. Let's see where we are. I got to tell you, I feel really out of practice on all of this stuff. Two weeks away. I feel a little bit out of practice here. So I apologize. I kind of keep looking down at my notes to keep me on track. I think the last thing that I want to say today is this, and I want to share today is this. It's really hard. It is really, really hard out there. I don't want to be like, I'm not the guy that is going to say, everything's great, be happy, be positive, don't look over there. Like, that's not me, right? As Tony Robbins would say, I'm not the guy that would say, there's no weeds in the garden, there's no weeds in the garden, there's no weeds in the garden. Say there's weeds in the garden and then pull them out, right? It's tough out there. So what do you do when times are tough? How do you best serve your customer when times are tough? How do you build yourself, if this is what you have to do, into something new when times are tough? Here's the formula, and it's really simple, okay? Number one, it's be consistent. Just be consistent about what it is that you do. I was talking to Doc V yesterday, and we were talking about his live stream. And Duck has been doing his live stream for ever since they put live streams on Facebook and on YouTube. But the one thing that he has done is consistently gotten on every single day, 7 days a week. It could be for 5 seconds or it could be 5 hours. It doesn't matter. But he's consistent. So whatever it is that you're working on when times are tough, whatever you're consistent about is what's going to define you and will define whether you're successful or you're not successful in achieving the things that you want. So important. I believe that there's a multiplier factor in the universe that's tied to our success. What I mean is this. What I mean is if you work on something, let's say you want to break out as a live stream star and you live stream, your goal is in 30 days to build your audience to X number of people doing live stream and to have a certain kind of following. Here's what happens. You do it. You live stream, you come on and you put in the time. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you go off air on Sunday. And on Monday, you come back. Here's what happened. You got the power of that thing times like exponential, like to the first power, the first day you did it, to the second power, the second day you did it, to the third power, the third day you did it. That's how momentum works. There's an exponential thing that happens when you do something repeatedly. But what happens to most people is they get to Sunday, and if they're on a diet, they just blow the diet. Or if they're live streaming, they just stop live streaming. And then they have to start again on Monday. So they get the power of that thing to the first power. They have to start that momentum. I call it a momentum cycle. You have to start your momentum cycle all over again. So here's what happens. You get to the end of the month and you've got one person that's been live streaming for 30 days in a row. They got the momentum cycle power of that thing to the 30th power. That's exponential growth versus the person who had to start over every single week. The results are completely different. So what I'm going to share with you is this. What I'm going to share with you is right now when things are tough, I would rather see you do one thing every single day that is important to you for 5 minutes than do everything for 5 hours like one day of the week. So do one thing for 5 minutes a day versus just one day a week, do it for 5 hours. There's no momentum in that. Does that make sense? So, and this is really important. So whether it is your diet, whether it is your exercise, whether it is the number of calls that you're going to make on a day, whether it's the number of new job interviews that you're going to go on or apply for, you have to do that thing every single day. You have to build that muscle and you have to develop that momentum. It is so incredibly important because here's the thing. What you do now is what's defining you. The question I have for you is this. What do your daily habits and patterns tell people about you? What do those daily habits and patterns and routines and rituals and things that you do tell other people about you? I can tell you right now, I can walk out on the street and I can look at the person that's gained 15 pounds during this pandemic, and that tells me something about them. Like I'm seeing them for the first time in a few weeks. I see they put on 15 pounds. That tells me something about their habits, their patterns, their rituals, their routines. It starts to shape my thinking about, do I want to buy from that person? Like, look at how this person deals with adversity. Versus if I see somebody right now that is looking totally fit, they're looking like they're in shape. My boy Randy Garn, I talk to Randy Garn in the mornings. We talk about 6:15, 6:20 Pacific time. Randy's on his Peloton every time that we're talking, right? He invested in that strategy when this hit, not before. You see, when times are tough, you got to be the toughest person in the room, which means you have got to have habits and patterns and rituals and routines. You have got to build yourself. You've got to build this momentum cycle around you that makes you not only so strong personally, so you can be strong through this, but that emanates an energy to other people that they can feel. They can feel that strength and that power and all that kind of stuff. It is so important in a time like today. Today is this is probably the best opportunity today that you've had, that we've all had in years. Because you know what? This is a time where the strong survive. Like the strong get up on 2 feet. And it doesn't matter. Hey, Les Brown said to me one time, my favorite motivational speaker, Les Brown said to me, he said, Scott, when life knocks you down, land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. Life knocks you down, land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. And that is so true. And as you get up today from whatever situation you're in, your business got impacted, your job got impacted, your contracts got impacted. If you get up and every single day you commit 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you want extra credit, 15 minutes to one thing that's going to move your business forward. You do that every single day to one thing that's going to help you personally, right? Help you personally be strong. You do that every day, you are going to be so, because here's what happens. If there's Tony Robbins, here's what happens. By the way, if you're ever looking for content, just quote other people. If you're ever looking for content, quote people that had an impact on you, right? You don't have to steal their shit. Don't do that. You don't have to steal it. You can use it. The joke in the training business is if it's been said 3 times, it's yours. I don't know what that means, but here's the thing. Tony Robbins, you make a change 1% today. Look what happens to that change in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year. That's all I'm asking you for today. I'm asking you for 1% every single day. I'm asking you for 5 minutes to the thing that's going to move your business forward every single day. 5 minutes to the thing that's going to make you more powerful, more strong during this period. That will help you to stand head and shoulders above the rest. That you'll get on a Zoom call and that you'll have an energy about you. You'll have a thing about you. And without anybody knowing anything about you, they will know that you got your shit together and you're the kind of person that they want to be in business with. You're the kind of person that they want to talk to. So again, stuff is so important. So again, I look at the summer and all I see is uncertainty outside of me. But what I know is I can create certainty inside of me. I can create certainty by controlling what I focus on, by doing something every single day and chipping away, and by taking care of myself. And if I'm doing those things, the momentum cycle will work in my benefit. The universe will conspire on my behalf. And I will put myself in a position for opportunity to be attracted to me like a magnet. Wherever I go, that opportunity will come. And it will come, and I'll recognize, it's not just enough for it to come. You have to recognize the opportunity and you got to act. Okay. You got to recognize the opportunity, which means that every single day you got to approach life with a beginner's mind, Shoshin. You have to be totally open. So every single day, it's like the first you've ever woken up on this planet. And that's so important. It's so important because today there is so much in flux. If you get stuck to anything you hold on to tight, that thing you're holding on to may be the thing that kills you. Spider monkey story, Greg Reed. So spider monkey, most elusive animal in the jungle. Nobody could catch it for years. And then one day, these hunters came along and they figured it out. Spider monkeys like nuts. They're like peanuts. So what they did is they saw a log. They saw this log. They bored a hole into it. And in the hole, they dropped these nuts. What happened? The spider monkey took its hand, and would put its hand in the, let me see if I can do this, would put its hand inside the log and it would make a fist. Now, here's the thing. It could sneak its hand in like this because the size of the hole. But once it closes its fist, it gets stuck. It can't come out because the hole is too small. It holds on to it. Now, what happens? The spider monkey fights harder and harder and harder to get this thing out. See, all it has to do is let go, but it holds on. And the reason it holds on is those peanuts, like it thinks that that food is saving it. You see? The thing that is actually it thinks is saving it is the thing that could lead to its demise. All it has to do is let go, and boom, its hand slips right out. So the question is, what is your nut? What is your nut? What is the thing that you're holding on to today where if you let that thing go, you let that one thing go, it would change everything for you. It would free you up in a way that could bring new opportunity to you. I'm watching Last Dance, ESPN. Last Dance, ESPN. It's about Michael Jordan's 6-series documentary. Absolutely fascinating, right? Absolutely fascinating. And, here's the thing. What made Jordan different? According to Phil Jackson, what made Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant different is every time they stepped on the court, they stepped on the court as if it was the first time they had ever played basketball. They were so open to new ideas and how to learn. A different way, right? A different way to post up, a different way to be on defense, a different way to do whatever it was. They were so locked in to openness that's what made them great. What I need you to do right now is be open to all possibilities every single day. Open to all possibilities every single day. Forget everything. Forget everything. Be open to all possibilities. And do one thing a day for 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking, for 5 minutes. 10 minutes, 15 minutes for extra credit. Every single day. Not 5, not during the week, 7 days a week. 365 days a year. And build that muscle. I need a business muscle and I need a personal muscle, a focus and physiology muscle. Do that. Do those things. And what's going to happen is, again, you're going to have this momentum cycle that is working on your behalf. I want to close today by kind of going back to what I was thinking about this morning, which was this idea of how do we get people to buy from us? How do we get people to pay attention from us when there's so much noise out there? When there's so much noise with live stream, when there's so much noise in social media, when there's so much noise on the news and in our neighborhoods with protests, when there's so much noise with business interruption, business disruption, business closure, when there's so much noise with unemployment and furlough, when there's so much noise with COVID-19, how do we get people to listen to us? The way that we get people to listen to us and then eventually to buy from us is to meet them where they are. It's to meet them where they are. Ask them, like that police officer did last night. Ask them, tell me what's going on. Tell me how you feel. Tell me what it is that you're trying to achieve. Tell me what could get in the way. Let's talk about how we can overcome it. Meet that person where they are. Develop rapport. People who are like each other tend to like each other. When you have rapport, people trust each other. They're much more willing to go in a direction that you want to take them. Meet them where they are. And then once they're there, paint a picture for them of what could be. Paint a picture like the officers did last night. Okay, so you want to protest? Totally cool. What if we were to do it over in this area? People here want to get arrested. They want that to be part of what comes out. Great. You want to tell me who the people are that want to get arrested? Maybe you can have them in this area over there so things don't get out of hand. Maybe we can put them over there. Like, let's paint a picture. Can we walk with you? Like, it's all about meeting people where they are. Ask your customers 2 questions. I beat a dead horse every day. What's most important to you right now? What's going on? What's most important to you? What has to happen? How do you know you're getting what you want? Before I go today, I just want to remind you, starting next week, every single day, the whole thing of the show is changing. So we have bigger media, bigger distribution, and we're going to completely change the format. I'll be speaking with a guest earlier in the program, and then I'm going to bring somebody on from our group, one of our listeners, one of our viewers, and we're gonna do mentoring with you right on the spot, right on the fly. We call it hot seating. So, if this is something you'd like to do, by the way, shoot me a DM and let me know this is what you want to do. Shoot me a message. And what we'll do is we'll bring you on. We're going to ask you, tell us who you are. Tell us where you are today. What are you working on? Where do you want to go? What are the biggest challenges that you're having? And we're going to work with you to problem solve in that area in real time. And our goal is to help you directly in your business, but also to open up other ideas and other possibility, to help people who are listening and watching to see things and hear things and feel things from a different perspective that might connect with them and their business by using real life examples every single day. Before I wrap, one last thing. I want you to think about your business different today. I want you to think about your business from the perspective of what would happen if I approached my business, every single step of the business site, like the business selling process, what if I approached it with a completely new set of eyes? Okay. And I looked for innovation in every single touch point of the process. I'm going to give you an example in travel. Okay. I want to give you an example in travel, and that's what we're going to wrap today. And I want you to think about this as it relates to your business. There is so much innovation taking place right now. It is crazy. I have been getting so many business plans that are so freaking cool from people who are seeing problems, talking to customers, and they're coming with completely new ways to do things. So think about it this way. Okay. This is where I'm going to end. Travel. I came from the air, like the travel, the plane space. I had a private jet company, right? So let's think about it from a consumer travel perspective. Okay. Consumer travel was down 98% now, I just read, at LAX last month. Okay. When it was down 30% after 2008, the crash, it took 10 years to bring that 30% of traffic back. LAX is down 98%. Now, when we do start to travel again, the whole process is going to be different. I'm going to use this example. Think about your business in this way. Okay, I'm a customer. Think about from the touch points, every touch point, how I can innovate in my space. Okay, I decide that I want to go to the airport. I'm not going to take my call. I call Uber. So as a customer, I get into Uber. What do I want in Uber? So when I get there, am I going to want them to have a mask for me? Am I going to still want to open the bottle of water that they leave for me? Am I going to want wipes there for me? Like, what are the different things that I'm going to want? What kind of different opportunities could that create for the Uber driver? What could that create for you? I get to the airport. Now, the odds of us being able to take baggage on planes in the way that we have are like, it's not going to happen. Anyway, I'm just going to tell you, it's not going to happen. So you may have tried to bring like your roll-on and then your other bag and then like snuck some stuff in. Not going to happen. The airlines are going to want as little in the overheads as possible in order to keep as much potential infection out. So we're going to be checking more bags. So what does that mean? When I get to the check bag area, what kind of innovation could that create? Is there a pre-check process that I can do over the internet? Is there a different kind of like bucket or something that I'm going to want to put my bag in? Is there going to be wipes or new wiping or new Purell types of stations or things like that? Am I going to want to tip the person who's the bell cap, or am I not going to want to exchange real money with that person? Is there an opportunity for an app to give people tips at places like this to keep the entire process touchless? So that, what else happens there? We're going to have to weigh our bags differently. Is there innovation? Is there a way for us to create a different kind of weighing system or what do you call this, scale, so that we don't have to wait for one person that's trying to shuffle things around in their bag, like you do a pre-weight thing, whatever it is. Then you go inside to get your ticket. So now I'm inside to get my ticket, and I'm not going to want to touch the kiosks anymore. I don't want to do that. Everything's got to be touchless. So what kind of innovation can you create so that you've got a touchless kiosk and a touchless ticketing process? And how does that work if a person doesn't have a phone or the internet's not connecting, doesn't work directly, like there's no integration with your iPhone or your Android device? Like, how do you make all of that happen in the kiosk right there? Now I go to the gate. I get to the gate, and your security is going to be completely different. So I get to the gate. Do you remember before 9/11 how there was no TSA? There was no security thing that you had to go through. You didn't have to take off your shoes. Well, that same kind of disruption is just about to happen. How do you win as the entrepreneur? So today I go to a gate through TSA. I go to the security gate. I go down the TSA line, and then there's also the clear line. Well, is there an opportunity to create another line that includes a fast check, but also there's some kind of health thing that's connected there? Like, I know that, this person is COVID clear, or I know that this person has had a certain vaccine, or whatever it is. Or do you just have an app that integrates with TSA or with Clear? How does that work? When you go through the screening device, so when you go through the screening device, right now it checks for bombs and things like that. If you go to China, those screening devices now check for fevers. Is there an opportunity for you to create a device that either is a standalone or it's something that adapts onto an existing device to check and make sure that you don't have a fever? And then maybe a secondary place to check, like, is there an opportunity for a smart entrepreneur to create some kind of fever clinic, some type of medical clinic that is consumer driven, that is there by security, that we would put people into that are like in a quarantine or something like that? I don't know. Now I get to the plane and I want to get on the plane. So the process of going to the gate and speaking to an agent will totally change. It's going to completely change. You're going to have plastic up between you and the agent. And as you get on the plane, no more paper tickets. Now, as you get on the plane, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is all of the plane is going to be cleaned in a different way. They're going to use a UV type of spray thing. It's like a light that has been used in hospitals for years, in surgery rooms to clean them up. So that whole thing is going to be sprayed down with this light. Now, they will also wipe the seats. There's an opportunity for those wipes. There's an opportunity for the gloves. There's an opportunity for all this stuff. And then finally, there's the seat back pocket. The dirtiest place on a plane is a seat back pocket, because that's where people put their Kleenex, they blow their nose, their excess food, things like that. Those seat back pockets are going to be zipped up. Seat back pockets are a thing of the past. So what can you do as an entrepreneur? Where do people put stuff? Is there something they can buy from you? Maybe they can hang it over the back of a seat and they can organize all of their stuff while they're on the plane. Food. Forget carts going up and down the aisle. That whole thing's going to change. How can you innovate in terms of food? Now, look, this is probably taken last 5 minutes, and it sounds like a big ramble, but it's really not. These are opportunities to innovate. And I promise you, in whatever your industry you are in, if you go and you take a look at all of the different steps that a customer needs to buy, and then to go through the process of using your product or service and get through to the other end, there are opportunities for you to innovate in your industry. And if you want to find it, it's really simple what they are. All you do is you go to people that are already spending money. I don't want people that don't spend money, that are already spending money in the space. And you're going to ask them 2 questions. What do you need now? And what has to happen? How do you know I'm giving you what you want? Before we wrap, I want to do one more thing. I'm going to hide this over here, and I'm going to come up to these comments. And Dea, I just wanted to say thank you so much, and thank you for joining today. Helen, it is great to see you. Doc V, Aaron Hagman, love you, brother. Aaron, great to see you. Jimmy Nalick, old school USD, so good to see you here today. Al Manfrey. For everyone that does not know, Al Manfrey is a person that I love dearly, that I work closely with. Al just redid my entire trust, my will, my medical powers of attorney. Like, this is a great time to do it. This is an incredible time to do it. If you're looking for help in that space, ping Al Manfrey. He is right there. He's an incredible resource. And to all of you that joined today, I just want to say thank you so much. I love you guys. You have an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I just need 5 minutes of consistency every day. Take care.